7 p.m. Can I have a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Yeah. Fire evacuation, in case there's an emergency in the room, you can go out the door in the back or go out the door to my left and down the stairs and away from the building. Roll call, please.
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorn.
Here.
Here.
Virginia Haley. Here. Kelly Hembler.
Here.
Dylan Bridge is absent, and Collins is here on Zoom.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Ken Kaufman.
Here.
And Chris Renaud. No?
Yeah, Chris.
Chris Renaud.
Here.
Chris is here. And I'd like to see Chris. Okay. Public communication and petitions. Is there anybody in the audience that want to speak on items not on the agenda? Anybody want to speak on items not on the agenda? And one last time. Anybody want to speak on items not on the agenda? You good? Okay. We have no correspondence. Next is minutes of preceding meetings for September 16th.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of September 16th, 2025.
Second.
Oh, I guess Ginny got it first. Discussion? Anybody have any changes?
Nope.
Okay. Roll call?
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hembler.
Yes.
Dylan Bridge is out. Ann Collins.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
And Chris Renaud.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes. Yes. Next is our town attorney report. It's dated September 25th. It's updates on all the items in legal litigation. We don't have any continued public hearings. Next is new public hearings. Excuse me. So just before we continue, I just wanted to make a note, a reminder that if we vote against or abstain on anything, then you have to state your reasons why. I forgot to do that the last meeting. So just take note of that. So we have a public hearing for IW 718-117 North Street, application for a map amendment to the town of Enfield, official wetlands map to be redelineated. The wetland areas as referenced on the site plan, Joseph LaCory, revocable trust, applicant, Joseph LaCory, owner, map 57, lot 200, I-zone. So we need a motion to open.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for IW number 718, 117 North Street.
Second.
Kevin and Kelly, and it's 7:03 p.m. So, okay. So what's going to happen is the applicant will make some statements about the application. Afterwards, the agents and staff may ask questions. We'll then hear statements from the public only regarding the topic of the public hearing and areas of concerns for inland and wetlands and our regulations. Please do not bring up items related to other agencies such as P&Z, as we can only base our decision based on our rules and regulations. All those wishing to speak, you'll come forward when called, and you can state your name and address for the record. If we have a lot of people waiting to speak, I may limit the time. I'm not sure how many yet. If at any time the hearing becomes unruly or unmanageable, the chair can call a recess. The statements from the public are for the purpose to consider in deliberations of the regular meeting. No back and forth discussions take place. We will then hear statements from the applicant to address any questions and concerns that was heard from the public. Did the applicant provide date to abutting properties, the certificates?
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did. Okay, perfect. Do you have the legal ad?
Oh, yes. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Somewhere. Here it is. The Enfield Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Agency will hold a public hearing at their regular meeting on Tuesday, October 7, 2025, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. IW 718, 117 North Street, application for a map amendment to the Town of Enfield official wetlands map to redelineate the wetlands areas as referenced on the site plan. Joseph C. LaQuarrie, revocable trust applicant. Joseph C. LaQuarrie, owner. Map 93, Lot 15, Map 100, Lot 06, I-1 zone. And this was published on Monday, September 22nd, and Saturday, September 27th.
Thank you. I guess we need to do roll call again for the public hearing.
Donna Corbin-Sabinski.
Yes, here.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley. Here. Kelly Himmler. Here. Is absent. Ann Collins.
Here.
Ken Kaufman.
Here.
Chris Renault.
Here.
Okay, 7 here. So are the applicants ready to give statements? State your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening.
Hi.
For the record, Wes Wentworth, Wentworth Civil Engineers, 177 West Town Street, Lebanon, Connecticut.
Hi.
Hi. I'm a professional engineer and soil scientist. I'm here on behalf of the owner and applicant, who's basically Joe LaQuarrie. We were before you for a wetlands permit application due to a wetlands violation, and this commission approved that, I believe, in late 2021. And one of the stipulations of that was that when all work was completed per the permit, we come back and we do a wetlands map amendment. This one was a little more involved than your typical wetlands permit because there was some disturbance ahead of time. When I flagged the wetlands originally, they were field delineated, located on the survey map, but there was fill involved in the situation, so it was hard to get an exact read. I flagged them conservatively in the sense I made sure that they were big. They didn't try to cut it tight. We went back in accordance with the permit, I believe, in September of 2023, and removed the fill from the wetlands, revegetated it, stabilized it, and at that time, with the fill gone, I could actually hand auger down in and get an accurate representation, and lo and behold, the wetlands did shrink a little bit because, you know, I'd taken a conservative approach originally. So all that work has been done. We are not here applying for any new activity. This is just an administrative map amendment per the condition of approval of that original wetlands permit, IW 635. So we have field located and plotted and surveyed the wetlands flags that were delineated by me in the field as a soil scientist, and that's what we've created a wetlands map amendment for this permit application to amend the town wetlands map. So that's why we're here. It's really pretty straightforward from an administrative standpoint.
Okay, thank you. Stephen, do you have anything?
Wesley did a good job explaining the purpose of the application. Just to kind of highlight some points that he had stated earlier. So this map amendment is a result of a previous wetlands application. This was more specifically condition number 8 for the application, which was IW 635. The condition was, let me find it here real quickly. Must submit a map amendment application showing new delineation of wetlands. And when I went back and forth between that application and this map amendment, the types of soils that were found were consistent, and the redelineation from IW 635 to this one is also consistent. So I believe that the soil scientist has done a good job in locating, finding, and accurately mapping the wetlands on the property. And to just kind of give an overview as to how many wetlands were added and removed, about 65,212 square feet of wetland was added to the mapping, and 12,240 square feet was removed for a net change of 52,972 square feet being added onto the property. That was otherwise not shown on the town's official map.
Anybody here have questions for the applicant or comments? Anybody in the audience that wants to speak for or against this application? Is there anybody that wants to speak for or against this application? Please come forward.
Let me see if there's anybody on the
List.
Sign-up sheet should be on.
Cool.
Is there a- Yeah.
My name is Gerald Sokolowski. I live at 156 Moody Road,
Welcome.
and I own the property
Oh,
at 164 Moody Road, adjacent to the person who's trying to get the map changed. And I want to know why.
okay. Well, we can't do it back and forth. We'll answer questions afterwards.
Well, that's the question I have. Why is he trying to do this? Why is he changing the map,
Okay. Well,
which is a wetlands map?
okay.
And what's he going to do with the change?
Okay. We'll answer your questions after. We won't go back and forth right now.
Fine.
Okay? Thank you. Is there anything else?
No, that's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you very much. Next was Mark Sokolowski. You're good? Okay. Okay, so anybody else want to speak for or against the application? Seeing none? Okay. Can the applicant come forward? Hi.
He's ready, so you can hear me. Again, Wes Wentworth for the record. The reason that this is being changed is because it's a requirement of the town of Enfield permit. And I'll just give you a quick history. In the 1950s and 1960s, all soils, wetland and upland, were delineated through a series of soil mapping by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And they were not accurately surveyed. They basically people walked out, used aerial imagery, and mapped all soil types. From those soil types, we have wetland soils and upland soils. Wetlands in Connecticut are delineated solely by soil types. The accuracy of these maps were to the nearest acre. So they're approximations based on people taking soil samples in the field and making marks on aerial surveys in the 1950s and 60s. They're very good maps, but they're not accurate enough to where I can go and delineate and put a flag every 25 to 35 feet and have a surveyor come in and locate that flag to an A2 standard, which is 1/8 of an inch. So because of that, we are updating the accuracy of the wetlands in accordance with the town of Enfield requirements. So we're not trying to, and in fact, that's expanded the wetlands somewhat on the property. So that's really not necessarily in the landowner's advantage. That's less land he can use without a permit. So it's certainly not trying to do anything. We're just trying to be in conformance with town requirements.
And it was a requirement from a previous permit with them.
That's
Come
correct.
back and do the amendment, so.
I hope that answers the question.
I hope so. Anybody else have any comments?
Can you just repeat what the net change is in wetlands?
Are you asking the net change?
Yeah, net.
Give me 1 second to pull that number up here. So the net change is an additional 52,972 square feet has been added to the properties shown on the map amendment
Of wetlands.
of wetlands,
Okay,
correct.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Does that change any properties outside of, adjacent to his property?
No, this only is for the two parcels that are in question with the map amendment. To my knowledge, no delineations were done outside of the property boundaries. These were done solely for the purpose of not only compliance with the previous permit, but trying to get an accurate map of where the wetland soils are.
right.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments? You good? Anybody else? Anybody? Yeah, so, is there anybody in the audience that wants to come back up or have a question? Anybody want to speak again? For or against? No? Okay, so, we gotta close it. Wait, oh, Jenny has a question.
Does this map amendment reflect at all on the actual legal matter in front of
Yes.
the wetlands?
Are you referring to the court case that's behind all this? Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm certain that with that court case, they're going to want to look through, make sure that they've taken the actions needed as requested by the Wetlands Commission. And this was something that wasn't checked off during the process of what's been going on the property. So this is another step to correct and come into compliance.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So you have to close the roll. Close it, yeah.
I make a motion to close the public hearing for IW number 718, 117 North Street.
Second?
Chris? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Kevin, motion, and Chris seconded? Mm-hmm. Any discussion? No discussion? Roll call to close?
Donna Corbin-Zabinski.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes to close the public hearing, and it's 7:16 p.m. It's October 7th. Okay. So, we could do a motion to,
I'll make a motion to approve the wetlands map amendment for IW number 718, 117 North Street. Application for a map amendment to the Town of Enfield official wetlands map to redelineate the wetland areas as referenced on the site plan. Joseph C. LaCory, revocable trust applicant. Joseph C. LaCory, owner, map 93, lot 15. And with the finding that the commission believes that the professional soil scientist has accurately delineated the actual wetlands, and because the soil types are consistent with the USDA web soil survey, we believe that it's an appropriate redelineation. The effective date pursuant to CGS 22A-42A, the revised inland wetlands map shall be effective 2 weeks after the legal ad is posted in the local newspaper, subject to the approval map amendment being posted with the Enfield Town Clerk prior to the effective date.
do I have a second?
Second?
Second, who's that, Ken?
Ken?
Discussion?
I just want to reiterate, it doesn't affect the adjacent properties. Just want to make sure that everybody understands that.
Yeah.
That's all.
And hopefully the gentleman who had a question got the answer that he needed.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, anything else? Roll call?
Donna Corbin-Zabinski.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, switch my papers. That's too big. So next is old business. It's IW 717, 75 Oliver Road, modification of a wetland permit for a single-family home. Huron Homes LLC, applicant owner, map 47, lot 63, R44 zone. And this is being continued from our last meeting of September 16th.
I have an update from the applicant. So after the site walk, which occurred yesterday at around 3 p.m., the applicant had asked me for a continuance, as after they were working with their engineer, they had some revisions that they wanted to make. And so I have a email here from the applicant for that request of continuance. Good afternoon, Stephen. Please accept this email as a request to continue our modification review meeting until 10/21/25.
10/21.
Thank you, Reinhard H.V. Hollander. And just to clarify, for anyone that is not sure when that is, that's the next regularly scheduled inland wetlands meeting.
Just looked. Okay. Need a motion?
Do we?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to continue IW number 717, 75 Aller Road to our next regular scheduled wetlands meeting.
Second.
Kelly? It's Kevin and Kelly. Discussion? Roll call?
Donna Corbin Sabinski.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes to continue it to 10/21/25. There's no new business. Next is enforcement reports, 50 Steel Road, a cease and desist.
Yes, my name is Brian Smith. I'm an attorney with Robinson and Cole, representing Lorraine and Martin and Dexler, who are the owners of 50 Steel Road. And I did prepare a memorandum with some exhibits, if I can, and I turned in a copy to Mr. Heine, but I give the original to you. Do you want to look at it?
No.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that'd be good. Thank you.
And the indexers are here tonight. They can elucidate anything if you have a question, but very briefly, I'll just basically read off the memo that I presented to you so you don't have to share it. This is to you, Madam Chairman, members of the commission. This firm represents Martin and Lorraine Andexler. Neither Martin nor Lorraine Andexler authorized any of the work and were not home on September 24th, 2025, when the work was performed in taking branches off an apparently dead tree near their northern boundary line, or the brush hog work that was done along the northerly side of the shared driveway. And 50 Steel Road, by the way, is a fairly large parcel, but there's two houses that are next to each other. It's like a flag lot. I think do you have it on the screen?
It should be up there. I'm just going to see if I can pull it up for you while
Okay, yeah. I was going to, I'll show you on the screen because I thought it was there. There it is. There you are. Yeah, so if you look at the lot, there's actually two houses on the, that's the rear, I think.
I think you can press the down arrow, it'll bring you to the second page.
Okay, down arrow. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is the front. This is Steel Road right here. And there is a shared driveway that runs along here. This is 52. I believe that's 52 Steel Road, and in the back is 50, which is where the Andexlers live. But they own the property all along the water course that is on the northerly boundary line. And there's a conservation easement along this same area.
Mr. Smith, is the button on? The little red button?
I think it is. Yeah, I'm sorry, can you hear me? Okay. I hope it's recording. At any rate, they own the property. It's sort of a flag lot. Its driveway is shared, but to the north of that, some of the land is their neighbors, but the land immediately adjacent to the water course is their own. And the conservation easement runs congruent with their boundary line. And that was where the work was performed in the front near Steel Road. There's trees and some brush hog work that was done at that time that they did not authorize back on the 24th of this, of September. And what I provided in the memo is also copies, affidavits of both Lorraine Andexler and her supervisor, she actually works with us at Robinson and Cole, and her supervisor stating that she was at work that day between 8:45 and 5:15 p.m., and Rebecca Anita, who's the administrator, can verify that we have time entries to show. And then also Martin Andexler was also at work at his job at the St. Bernard's Catholic School, and on that same day at the relevant times between 7:01 a.m. and 1:39 p.m. And when they both came back, they discovered this work had been done. So, but on the 27th of September, they received the cease and desist order, and they believe that they understand that Mr. Gorman, who's their neighbor at 52 Steel Road, had authorized and performed the work, and they told him not to do it anymore. It is unclear whether the tree or the brush that was cut down was all on their property, on the Andexler property. It may also be on Mr. Gorman's property. We're not entirely sure. To that end, they have met with Mr. Heine and Lori Whitten and said that they would be happy to obtain a survey to establish where the boundary lines precisely, because it's a little bit of a confusion. But they've contacted the surveyor, had discussions, and we contacted the surveyor who actually had done the work for the builder when they came in 2008 or 9 to do this development. And they said they can do it, but it may take up to 8 weeks for them to get it done. So what we're going to request tonight is continuance so that we can have the survey and then talk about next steps once we get the survey in hand and everyone can figure out exactly what it was. But I would like Mr. Andexler to come up because he took the photos that are at the back of your memo, and he can sort of walk you through some of these photos that are here. And I don't know if you have them available up there. They're not on the screen. Okay. Okay. So, Mr. Andexler.
Yes, it's Martin Andexler, 50 Steel Road, Enfield, Connecticut. Thank you. So we're going to wait? Are they going to put them?
No, they're not.
They're not going to appear.
They're not on the
Okay, so on the Saturday, the 27th, after the cease and desist order, I did take some pictures of the work that had been done. Mr. Gorman did cease and desist when we told him. However, I took pictures of the tree in question that he had been working on, as well as some of the brush hog work that had gone along the boundary of the conservation and watercourse.
And that's what is depicted with these. You took them, right?
I took the pictures, yes.
Okay. And I think what, we understand that the town can only look to the owner of the property who is responsible for doing, not for rectifying it, and then it's up to us how we decide to do something beyond that. And the Andexlers are fully aware of that, but they first want to determine exactly where the boundary is, since the iron pins that were stated to be on the boundary must be 2 feet underground or gone. So I don't know if there's any questions right now for them.
This is kind of like a brief overview to kind of reinforce what Mr. Smith has said up to now. When I got in the email on September 24th, there was a concern about some cutting going on at the culvert over by 52 Steel Road, which I had then on the next day. I went out, I took some observations from the sidewalk, and that's where I noticed that there was a bobcat in the yard, and I was able to see some logs and some tree limbs, and I couldn't tell if there was a tree cut down, or if there was a tree in the process of being cut down, but it looked like that a tree was in the process of being cut down. And so that's when I had made the decision to write up a cease and desist order. And as they've already stated, there's a little bit of property line disputes as according to the surveys and the GIS, the culvert does belong to the Andexlers. However, this exact tree, from when we went out on the site visit, it appears that the tree is in the tree line that the surveys delineate as part of their property. However, as Mr. Smith stated, it's a little unclear when we went out there. It was hard to exactly pinpoint where those property lines were, and that's as to how they've reached out to a lawyer to ask for a continuance to figure out exactly where those property lines are. In my conversations with the Ann Dexlers, we've had a decent amount of communication over the past week. He's visited the office before, showing me the official surveys that I think Fortune Builders had built at the time. We took a look into the land records, and that's when we saw that there was a conservation easement. And so that's where a little bit more sense of care came into place, because it was already a wetlands violation, but obviously we want to conserve the conservation area. So, and part of me, I did look away from what I wrote down for a minute, but throughout the whole time, they have been very cooperative with the town. They even informed me, as Smith said earlier, it wasn't them that had done the work, it was their neighbors. And they had asked the neighbors to cease and desist when they received the order, and they have complied with that order. When I went out to the site, I didn't notice anything new. The heavy machinery, I believe, was removed at the time when I arrived. But I did see the brush hogging along the entire culvert where the neighbor believed their property line was. And with the brush being stored essentially next to the culvert, as well as there is a trailer sitting next to the culvert, that will need to be removed eventually somehow, because it's still a wetlands violation, and it's also a violation of the conservation easement. However, that the exact corrective action at this time is to be determined, as we're still trying to figure out exactly where that property line sits.
Okay.
There's no danger of that tree falling on any building or anything like that, is there?
So the tree that was cut down, it is a dead tree, and the indexers were actually, from my understanding, were talking about how to take care of it prior to the work, and then the work just ended up being halfway done.
Okay.
Because when we got to the site, we could see that the limbs were cut down, but the tree is still standing tall, and it did not appear to be leaning one side or another. It's just as dead as a doornail.
Mm-hmm.
So
Eventually will fall.
as it currently sits, it doesn't appear to be an immediate danger, but I'm also not sure the exact condition of the tree aside from it's dead.
And I have to say, I can see in the pictures a bunch of bittersweet, so it looks like that's probably what was brush hogged as well.
More of an observation than a question, but usually when there's conservation and a house is being built, especially in wetlands, when they come before wetlands, there's a medallion that's posted by the builder that says, this is conservation, don't touch it, don't look at it, breathe on it, don't do anything to it. I'm sure that this property owner seems very diligent and would not have touched it, but maybe we should give them another one to put up when they have it surveyed so that they don't have to monitor their neighbor being too zestful.
Funny enough, there actually is a conservation medallion on the tree that was being cut.
Well, at least it's working. Not correctly, but at least it's working.
Who's there?
If the tree dies, we should put another one up.
Any more questions to my right?
Oh, yeah.
Questions down this way? No? Do we have any questions? No. Continue it?
Thank you for
Yeah,
being
we
so
don't-
prompt and so helpful. It is appreciated, and I
Yeah,
don't
we
have
should.
any
Yeah.
problem with it being
Yeah,
continued.
motion to continue.
I will make a motion to continue the enforcement and cease and desist of 50 Steel Road
To
until the,
8 weeks would be like December 2nd or 9th.
yeah, until
December
the
2nd. Yeah.
lot line delineation is
Yeah,
done.
that's fine.
Yeah. So we'll say December 2nd, and then if you get done sooner, just let Stephen know.
Absolutely.
12/2. So continue it to December 2nd.
December 2nd.
Or sooner.
You do? He's
Yeah.
got a question.
Wait a minute, wait, well, not yet, not yet.
Well, don't we do a second, then
Yeah, you
do
gotta
the
do Kevin
questions?
first.
Second.
Kevin, okay, and Kelly second it. Discussion.
My only question is the cease and desist is for 50, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
What is stopping the people from 52?
Well, as of so far,
Just a verbal, please don't do it, or are we going to be official?
well, as of right now, they have been very cooperative with Lorraine and Martin. I don't see any issues with it as of right now, considering that when I even went out to the site visit, the heavy machinery wasn't there anymore. So from my appearance, it doesn't seem like there's any work that's going to continue. But if there is another action being taken on the property, and we can see that the neighbor does do that, I could then issue a cease and desist.
And plus,
to
we're
kind of
still trying to
enforce
figure
that.
out
Yeah, there's
where
no.
the property is.
Yeah, there's no
Right.
other cease and desist that we can rule on yet, so.
Yeah.
Got to figure out the property.
I'm sure
line.
he's gonna monitor, so
Yeah.
if there is one.
Anybody else have any questions, comments? No? Roll call, Ginny?
Donna Corbin Sabinski.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Chris Renault.
Yes.
Seven in favor, motion passes. So we're going to continue to December 2nd. or so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next is 18 West Shore Drive, a cease and desist. Good evening, gentlemen. Could you state your name and address for the record?
Nelson Aiken, 18 West Shore Drive.
Hi.
Good evening. Attorney Wendell Avery, I represent Mr. Aiken regarding the cease and desist. My address is 72 West Stafford Road in Stafford.
Perfect, welcome.
We're here tonight, maybe a little confusion. Mr. Nelson received the cease and desist on September 8th. And the cease and desist was for installation of a pump and piping into Shaker Pond for the irrigation of his lawn. Upon receipt of the cease and desist, Mr. Nelson immediately stopped engaging in that behavior and disconnected the pump. So a little confusion, and has notified the enforcement agent of that he's discontinued engaging in this activity. So just a little confusion. Your last minutes reflected that you were expecting him to appear tonight with further documentation.
Okay. Stephen?
Bear with me as I try to read everything accurately and correctly to the correct properties. We can. All right, yeah, this is for 14. All right. So please hold.
Yeah.
This is for 18.
Yeah.
That we're focused on 18 tonight.
So after Rick had sent out the cease and desist order for, I believe this is 18 West Shore,
This
correct?
is 18, correct.
With
Yes.
just the pumping of the water for irrigation, correct?
Correct, that's what this was limited to.
Thank you. Just making sure I have my ducks in a row here.
Right, because they're confusing.
Rick did receive an email and an affidavit from Mr. Nelson regarding the recent case and a recent cease and desist order that he was issued. Although the withdrawal of the water from Shaker Pig is not in violation of CTD regulations, Mr. Aiken complied with the order upon receipt of the order and has continued to comply with the order. And he has an affidavit signing off saying that it is made with respect to real property known as 18 West Shore Drive. He is the record owner, and he affirms with the response to the cease and desist order that he will discontinue the withdrawal of water from Shaker Pines Lake. Now, the issue that was made up earlier is, while it may not be a violation of CTD regulations, it's still a violation of local wetlands regulations.
Right. That's
Mr. Rick Rochelle had received an email from Matt Koppler, where basically they were asking about what the violation was. He wanted some background on the matter, and so Rick attached some regulations to that email, saying that this is parts of why it is considered a violation. So, under definitions, deposit includes, but shall not be limited to fill, grade, dump, place, discharge, or emit. Material means any substance, solid or liquid, organic or inorganic, including but not limited to soil, sediment, aggregated land, gravel, clay, bog, mud, debris, sand, refuse, or waste. And the agency may rule that any other activity located within such an upland review area or in other non-wetland or non-watercourse area is likely to impact or affect the wetlands or watercourses and is a regulated activity. And now the final definition he has here is remove, includes but shall not limit to drain, excavate, mine, dig, dredge, suck, bulldoze, dragline, or blast. And then 4.2, Section C says the installation of a dry hydrant by or under the authority of a municipal fire department, provided such a dry hydrant is only used for firefighting purposes and there's no alternative access to a public water supply. For the purpose of this section, a dry hydrant means a non-pressurized pipe system that A, is readily accessible to the fire department, and B, provides for withdrawal of water by suction to such fire department apparatus, and C, is permanently installed into an existing lake, pond, or stream that is a dependable source of water. So it's the removal of material that is still a violation of the wetlands regulations. That is my understanding for the cease and desist order.
Thank you. So have you checked to see that he stopped?
We have the affidavit saying that he has complied with the cease and desist order.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to close the cease and desist for 18 West Shore Drive.
Second. Oh, sorry.
Kevin and Jenny? Discussion?
Just to clarify, because I think that this is 18. When we had 14, isn't that when we were discussing the issue of the pump with 18, which is why the cease and desist needed to be issued for 18? So that's the only reason that came up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Donna Corbin-Savinsky.
Yes.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Kelly Hemler.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yeah.
Ken Kaufman.
Yes.
Chris Renaud.
Yes.
Yes. 7 in favor, motion passes to close the cease and desist order. So thank you for cooperating and taking care of everything for us right away.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night. Okay. Next, this audience got less. 14 West Shore Drive, a cease and desist. Is that her? No. Oh. So, I guess they're not here.
All right. Just as an update about what are we looking at, 14 West Shore Drive. On September 22nd, Chelsea Aiken sent an email with 2 photos showing the reinstallation of hay bales along the seawall where it meets the lake. Rick responded to the email on 9/25/25 and also addressed the issue of the C&D order sent to her father and asked her advise him of the missed meeting that he should attend the next meeting on October 7th. As of September 26th, there was no response to his email. And then on October 2nd, he met with Nelson Aiken as he was walking into the Planning and Zoning office. Nelson was first advised that he had not shown for the previous meeting on September 16th for the C&D order sent to him, and he stated that he would attend the next meeting on 10/7, which he clearly did. Nelson Aiken presented a letter from attorney Wendell Avery reporting that he represents Nelsie Aiken in the C&D matter regarding the siphoning of water from the lake. The letter noted that the siphoning of the water from the lake is not a deep violation, but he has still complied with the C&D order and will continue to comply with the order. An affidavit signed by Nelson Aiken is also attached. He also presented the documents for his daughter's property at 14 West Shore Drive. However, he did not have a new application for the modification of the previous IWWA approval, nor did he have a narrative for the application. Rick explained that we do not take in an application piecemeal. They would need all of the documents by the end of the day so that they could be sent out to the wetlands members. The application was then submitted on Friday afternoon and was missing the stormwater report and engineering report for the changes to the original approval. So that's just kind of the update on 14 West Shore Drive. And we got
We'll
it.
invite him to the next meeting. Yep. Okay. Guess that's all we could do. Okay. So, planning and staff report?
I have nothing to report.
Nothing today? Applications to be received? Turn my thing over. Okay. IW 719, application for a wetland permit for a new single-family home within the Upland Review Area. Our Town Home Buyers LLC, applicant owner, map 11, lot 18, R33 zone. Then we have AAA 14337 Oxford Drive, application for an agent approval for an in-ground pool within the Upland Review Area. Giuliano Pools, applicant, Carmen Santinello, owner, map 58, lot 284, R33 zone. And then we were given one on our desk. IW 720, 14 West Shore Drive, modification of IW 703 wetland permit for a single-family home. Chelsea Aiken, applicant owner, map 80, lot 149, R33 zone. Okay. So that's what's being received today. Miscellaneous, anybody have anything? No? Anybody? No? Motion?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
So Kevin, Ginny, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is, what time? 7:47.